Hey everybody, on with my friend Agapi Stassinopoulos, who wrote this amazing book, Speaking with Spirit, 52 Prayers to Guide, Inspire, and Uplift You. We're going to talk about the difference between prayers and mantras and affirmations and how you can connect with your spirit inside. Anything to add, Agapi?
Yes, I say get this book, keep it by your bedside, open it in the morning when first thing, any page, any chapter, it will lift you, it will guide you and inspire you. And I love you.
All right, guys, don't forget to hit subscribe. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Better Together. When you know better, you get better. That is our goal here every single day. And we doing it. Every day. We're getting better and better. Our quote for today is from our guest. Prayer is the cheapest and fastest way to alter your mind, calm your nervous system, and possibly divert conflicts. And that is from Agapi Stassinopoulos. She is a best-selling author and speaker who inspires audiences around the world. She is a fellow Greek sister, born and raised in Athens. She's written another book before that we've had her on the show for. I think it was the meditation book.
Yeah,
right?
Before me, which is crazy. I think it was Lauren, actually. I looked it up and I was like,
really?
Yeah, how
It's
wild.
been a minute.
It's been a minute.
That book looks similar to this, and it was like 52 meditations. I think if I'm not crazy, I think it was.
Oh, I love that.
And this is 52 Prayers to Guide, Inspire, and Uplift You. And I love the artwork on this book. I love the color of it. Here we go. It was Wake Up to the Joy of You.
Oh, there you go.
I just completely made up a whole other book.
Maybe you should tell her.
52 meditations. I can't keep it all straight, guys. But excited to have her back on the show today. She's always very inspiring, and it's always like good chicken soup for your soul. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, I am very grateful to Claret & Ready tabs. Without them, I would not be here right now.
True.
Not sponsored, friends, at all. But I share what works. And if you have an allergy sitch, or especially if you have animal allergies, Claret & Ready tabs are the bomb. They work so well, so quickly. I woke up this morning and I was tired, and I was having some allergy situations last night, and I kept putting the Briotech on, but it's an allergy. It's different.
You're right.
But it is inflammation. So I was trying that. It helped me go to bed. And then this morning I woke up and it was happening again. So I did the Visine allergy drops, and then it wasn't enough. My eyes look like tomatoes, like swollen tomatoes. And so then I took the Claret & Ready tab. I got into bed and I said, okay, I'm going to do some yoga nidra upon your beautiful suggestion, Queen.
Got you.
And my internet went out maybe 4 minutes into yoga nidra. I was taking my deep breaths, and then that was it. But it helped.
Well, that's good.
Even the little bit I got.
That's good.
Amidst the chaos of having 1,000 dogs in my house peeing everywhere.
Yeah.
Little Bobo. So I went back in just before I came out here, and I see a big puddle, and they all have diapers. So I had no idea how this happened. He's a big peer. He's a very little dog, and I don't know, but a gallon comes out of him. He had peed so much it was coming through the diaper, and he's double diapered. And then I take the diaper off, and more pee's coming out at the same time out of his little pee-pee. And I was like, your face is awesome.
I'm like, no, thank you.
Oh, man, I'm going to kill Kevin. It's just too much. It's
Little
like,
Bobo.
They're all absolute angels. I've never met dogs like this in my life, but it's just too much chaos in this house right now.
Yeah. It's like, it doesn't matter how amazing they are. It's still a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a lot of responsibility. And like, you already have two. It's not like you didn't have any.
Yeah.
Like, you already have two who are pretty needy. Don't tell Winnie I said that.
Yes.
But, it's a lot.
Man. Well, today with Agapi, I will learn some prayers to help me through. I will tell you what I always go to now when I'm stressful is I go to gratefulness. And it really has been helping me. It's funny. We did, I think, a Patreon episode about this recently.
Yep.
And there have been so many moments since. Sometimes when I'm speaking to you, sometimes I get the downloads kind of coming through me in the moment, and it's like just flowing. but then I'm having to teach it to myself at the same time. And so when I'm sharing it with you, I'm really sharing it with me too. So I've been applying it and it's been really helpful.
That's great.
Really helpful. Anytime you're like upset or stressed or anxiety, just go to grateful. And because a lot of it is usually coming from fear, right? So stress, the code word for fear is just stress. It's more socially acceptable than to say, I'm fearful, right?
True.
And so if you're coming from fear, then you know that when you're grateful, you can't be fearful at the same time. It's like an impossibility. You can't be grateful and fearful at the same time.
I never thought about it that way.
Yes, Tony Robbins taught me that.
Thank you, Tony.
So
I like
when
that a lot.
I'm fearful, aka stressed, I go right to my gratitude list and it always helps me shift my mood instantly.
You know what I want to do? I want to have a list in my phone, like just a quick reset list, a quick grateful list that I can go to. That just came to me when you said that because I'm like,
But here's my thing, Queen.
Tell me.
Why do you need a list to be grateful?
True, you don't.
Right?
You don't.
You can, I walked outside just now and I was like, oh God, I'm so grateful for these trees. I'm grateful for this air. It feels so good as I breathe it in. I'm grateful that I'm getting to walk in and do an interview right now. You can be grateful about your toenail.
True.
Like
Good
you can
point.
be grateful about your eyelashes actually like working with your mascara today.
True.
There's a zillion
Yeah,
things
you're
to
right.
be grateful for. Oh my gosh, my contour worked great. Whatever it is. My nails are still on. Yours aren't. So
Mine
you're
are
not grateful for that.
Oh, 2 down.
But you can be grateful for so much.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that you won $1 million on the lottery.
It's a great point.
So
I think we often think it has to be these big things, and it doesn't.
No.
You're right.
Grateful for the air I'm breathing. Grateful for the fact that I can walk. Grateful that I'm able-bodied.
Yeah.
Grateful that I'm pretty healthy.
Yeah.
Yes, we have our things, but we're
course.
pretty healthy.
Yeah.
So,
I like that.
yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, you don't need another list in your phone for
No,
that.
I don't.
You can come up with a lot of things. I'm grateful I have both my parents.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I have wonderful people around me. I'm grateful. I mean, every day it's
Right.
my grateful list is I'm grateful, with Winnie and Max, of course. Today it was just Winnie and the Bijans. And they were literally smushed up against my legs, looking up at me with these big brown eyes. And I'm like, and we're grateful for our squad, Kelsey and Pooja. And we're grateful for Auntie Violetta and Uncle Francisco and Auntie Demi and Papu and Daddy, even though he's being bratty. And then also we're grateful for Auntie Alyssa and Uncle Joe and Uncle Dimitri and everyone who loves us and helps us every day and everyone who wants good things for us. Like there are plenty of people to be grateful for. There are plenty of things, but that's what we say every morning. So, so you guys are in our list.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Okay, well, we're going to find out from Agapi something really cool today that Kelsey picked up on, where in her pre-interview, she talked about the differences between affirmations and mantras and prayer, because this book is about prayer, right?
Yep.
And so I thought her answer was really, really cool for this. So the book is called Speaking with Spirit, 52 Prayers to Guide, Inspire, and Uplift You. So we're going to talk a little bit about that right now with Agapi. Yasu Agapi.
Oh, Mariam, I'm so happy to see you.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. I'm in left Los Angeles in October, and we were there for 1.5 years with the pandemic. And now we are here. My good news is that we're healthy, first of all, which is the blessing. And Christina, my older niece, is pregnant.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so she's expecting, and that's such a big blessing for us. She got married in September in Santa Barbara when the virus was kind of diminishing. And so far, so good. In New York, I think things are better now.
Yeah.
But it's been quite a time for all of us. And my great gift is that during the pandemic, for me, it was a very, very hard time. And I'm sure for everybody who is an extrovert and like us, Maria. And I felt very bereft. I felt missing my friends and all the activities and speaking. And the greatest blessing is that I wrote the book. I wrote Speaking with Spirit. And I got closer to the Spirit, and I got closer to God. and my calmness. And I found a lot of tools that I had to, because when you're so isolated, you have to go deeper inside. And that's the message that I feel now I'm spreading and putting out to people, because, right now we're going through a very difficult time again, with the war and with not knowing what's going to happen next. And somehow we're always dealing with some kind of anxiety. And I found, Maria, that I had to partner with the Spirit. And I know you know that, because your prayers and how you've been during the time when your mother was passing and how everybody was holding for you made such a difference, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It was such a different journey, I think, for me to have that connection with God and to be able to have, I call it like that highway of communication back and forth, ask and receive, ask and receive. I never felt alone. I always felt like I had the answers I needed when I asked them.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you feel rooted in the midst of your adversities.
Mm-hmm.
You feel that you can be grounded and you can find your sails to go through the winds.
Mm-hmm.
So you adjust your sails, and the weather gets stormy, but somehow you're being held. But what I found in speaking about the message of the book is that a lot of people don't know that connection.
Mm-hmm.
and have lost their connection. And that's what I really wanted to come and speak with you with Better Together, because yes, we are better together, but we're better together with a bigger presence.
So how do you share with people, or how do you guide people to initiate that connection or strengthen that connection? Obviously, initiating it is, let's start there, because some people have no idea what this feels like or what it's like. I've had that connection from a young age because of necessity, right? So my dad was type 1 diabetic, almost died a million times. So trust me, I was on my knees a lot, praying and begging for help. And eventually you start to see that God is there for you, right? At least for me, I felt that. And then I was able to build on it. But other people haven't gone there yet and don't know how to do it.
I read you something from the preface, and Maria, Ariana and I had this amazing mother like you did, and she helped us in our faith and in our trust to life. She wasn't religious as such. It wasn't about the Greek church, but it was more about the spirituality of life. And she was a very high soul, I feel, my mother, and although she had a lot of her own pain with my father, and she fought as a nurse in the Second World War and fought the Nazis, and was faced with tremendous violence, during the war. She withstood in that and gave her a confidence and a trust in life, and taught us yoga and meditation. And she always say that there is a higher part in us, a wise part in us. So when she referred to God, for her, it was the larger part in ourselves. She didn't just, didn't make it like, oh, this is for the religious. This was like the universal presence. And I have this phrase in the book that's called, God is not a being, it is a state of being. So when we pray to the deeper, wiser, higher, and more intelligent part of ourselves that is connected to the whole, we pray to the awakened part in us that is indeed the God in us. So there is the human part that struggles and has the anxieties and the worries and the unknown. And then there is the part that is calm and centered and is larger and has the intelligence. It's undefinable. I mean, it's not anything that we can really put words on, because the word God is too small to put it in a thumbnail, about what God really is. And none of us can really describe it because our minds are so finite. So the other day, a girl I was working with and I was talking, she said to me, Agapi, I love your book and I have it by my bedside. And I relate in your book because you talk about your struggles. And I do very openly and very vulnerably. I talk about all the challenges I went through. Maria.
In your first book, right?
In my Binding the Heart and Wake Up to the Joy of You. And in this book, again, I tell stories of when I was an actress and I wasn't getting the parts that I wanted. And I had my connection to God, but I didn't know what to do with myself in this world. And so this girl was saying to me, I don't have the faith you have. I don't have the trust in that there is God within me. And I said, well, do you feel your heart? And she says, I know my heart, and my heart has some pain. And I said, well, go there. Do you feel the love in your heart? And she said, yes, I feel love. I live my parents, my family, my friends. I said, go to that place where there is love and connect to that part and talk to your heart. That's where God is. So when people feel that God is too abstract and too far away, and they can't reach because they feel it's unattainable, they feel unworthy of even, finding the words to pray, I say just go to your heart, go to your goodness, go to your humanity, and then allow that part to express. And you'll see, Maria, in every prayer that I have, I allow our human part to express how we feel, so that if you're bereft or if you have a breakup from love, you go to God, you go to the higher part of you and you say, I am sad, I am grieving, I am lost, I don't know what my expression is, I don't know what my purpose is. And then you return to the silence, is what you just said when we started. Then you start to listen. And as you listen, the strength comes in, the power within us of the soul, because in our very breath is God. It's not anywhere far away. And we have to become aware that we are actually all of us being breathed. But our conditioned self, our stories, and our humanness makes us contract. But as we open up, even right now, let's just say a little evocation. If we put our hands in our heart and we take a deep breath and we exhale any concerns, any worries, any anticipations of the future. And wherever each listener is, wherever you are, just allow yourself to relax your shoulders and come into a deeper relaxation of your breath, and feel your breath coming in deeper, more slowly, and more fully. Do you know that we actually don't breathe all the way? We breathe 30% to capacity. So right now, just say, allow myself to take a full breath and be present right here. All is well. We are here. You are listening. We are speaking. We are loving. We are safe. And we ask for the light of the Spirit, the God in all of us. And we ask that as Maria and Agapi speak, that we bring the love, we bring the Agapi, the unconditional love, in our presence. And we feel the light. Just start to feel a light coming in from the top of your head all the way to your feet. And breathe it in and start to feel that you are not alone. Of course, you're not alone because you're being breathed. And wherever tightness is in your stomach, any emotional disturbance, any events that happened that might have concerned you, let it go, let it go, let it go. And open up your heart and find the sweetness in your heart. And we ask for a blessing that each person who is listening to us right now may receive a deeper knowing of their connection to the higher spirit, to God, to the awareness. And they will allow the solutions to their life's problems to be revealed to them. We ask this for a blessing. And we ask that the light go to everyone through the waves of the internet, and through the waves be received. And we hold for the peace, we hold for the presence, and we let go. And we return to the deepest gratitude for the gift of our lives. For this very moment, we smile inside and outside. And as we smile, we give a signal to the nervous system, all is well. We never walk alone. Amen.
Amen. Damn, I'm so calm now. That feels so good. You know what? It's funny when you said to go to your heart and to talk to yourself. I think it's interesting because I just did that last week. I had to do that like little pep talk with myself. And I talked to myself and I said what I would say if I wasn't me, to me.
Yes, exactly.
And it was really cool and really special and really nice. But I think what you feel when you do that is that godly love.
That's right, Maria. Exactly, Maria. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
That's why that exercise is special. But I think also it reminds you to learn how to love you.
Exactly. And to like you. And I feel, and I write in my journal every night. I have a journal that's called Agapes Prayers. I had it engraved, and I write, and I have this phrase, then I say at night or in the morning or, anytime, it doesn't matter, because I say, Spirit, tell me right now what Spirit speaks to me. And the message that I get all the time is to love and accept Agape as I am,
Mm-hmm.
And to know what my capabilities are. We allow ourselves to get stressed because we take more or we compare ourselves. And comparisons, for example, or fears or self-doubt or the unknown, or Maria, not expressing what we really feel. Not really saying, as you know, in Greek, we never have the word fine. If I say to you, how are you? It's either you're great, you're worried, you are anxious, you are upset, you are mad at somebody, but there is such fullness of our expression. We never say, I'm fine, we have these emotional selves, and we must allow ourselves to express them. And when somebody calls you, and I have this habit now with my, I pray with Ariana, I pray with my friends. But what I mean by pray is that I bring in the presence so that when I'm about to do my day, I'm not feeling alone. So that when I'm dipping during the day, for example, I was, a friend of mine called me yesterday, and they were very upset. They had an argument with somebody, And I said to her, I have in chapter 31, I go, how to reset your balance. Because, sometimes, she was about to go to a big event. She had an argument. And so right there, she called me and she said, can we just call in the light for a minute? Mm. So I wanted to read you this little prayer that I have that's called how to reset your balance. So I start by saying, dear beloved, I have just experienced a situation that threw me off balance. And I ask that I may forgive, clear, and disconnect from what just occurred. Because how many times have we felt out of balance because something happened and we carried on for days?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and suddenly, you have to do a show, or I have to be a podcast, or I have to go to a meeting. And then suddenly I'm feeling disturbed because somebody said something or somebody didn't say something. And said, I'm upset. So you see, I bring to my God self, to myself, to my higher self, to my presence of my wisdom. I said, I'm upset and feel discomfort. And I ask that I take a moment to return to my quiet. And I quieten, allowing my heart to soften and to clear. I send love to myself. And I ask that I be guided toward anything specific I need to do to let go. I ask that all those who are involved be sent the light. So instead of sending negativity or judgments, I send them the light. I remind myself of my oneness with them, and I ask that they receive the blessing. I trust that there is joy, that there is gratitude at this moment. I'm grateful to know that I have the choice to let go of the disturbance right now. I breathe out. I breathe in. I accept myself. I release the judgments, and I thank you. And I let my loving heart fill me up again. I set myself free.
I love that.
And it's what you said. It's like in the moment, speak to your heart, but let go of the judgments.
Well, and I think that's the reason why talking to yourself as if it was your friend is so important, because we have empathy for our friends if they make a mistake, right? You aren't your one moment where you snap. You aren't your, worst moment when you're stressed and angry. You're not that one thing, right?
Exactly.
And so you would have empathy with somebody else and rub their shoulders and say, it's fine, don't stress, you're totally good. But when it's you're beating yourself up and then you're getting worse. And now what you're doing is going into this downward spiral, and then it's ruining your whole day. And then it's spilling into the next day. And now any decisions you're making in that state is bad. And it's just this snowball effect. So I think if we can all get into that habit of stopping down, reconnecting, and talking to ourselves like we're talking to our best friend, that's a really great step. But connecting with your heart and even finding these situational prayers, which is really cool to have to help you reset, is great.
And to know that the spirit, and what I found during the pandemic is when I was crying and I couldn't see anybody and I couldn't do anything of all the things I loved, I would find that, Maria, the spirit was right there with me, loving me. And the gratitude, I found that gratitude for the moment and that I was alive, that my friends were okay, and I could at least talk to them in FaceTime. My family was okay. And we had so much, that we take for granted, And now I know that for me, it's like every time I think of the situation in the war in Ukraine, all I want to do is bring more peace and loving and at least be the best version of Agape, in my gratitude and in myself. And when I pray or when I meditate or we meditate with friends, to just see, beams of light going there. And then, we have friends who have gone to volunteer and to help. But I think what is amazing is a lot of people who say, I don't know what to do, but it's the value of praying is something you can do.
Yeah, but I feel like I hear a lot of people dismissing that now. A lot of people are being kind of nasty on social media, like prayers aren't going to do enough. And it's kind of not a nice thing to say, because not everyone is capable of the grand gestures that maybe someone else is. Someone else may have the funds to go to Poland and be able to help refugees, or someone may have the funds to do other things. Some people, that's all they can offer is a prayer, and that should be okay. It shouldn't be, a negative thing.
Exactly. And I think that people who say that maybe, Maria, have not really experienced their power of their heart.
Or the power of their prayer, because I've seen the power of prayer. Exactly.
You've seen the power of prayer.
I know it.
I mean, you know it in your life when you went through the health scare you had. And then I saw it with your mother. I mean, your mother was the beneficiary of so much love that was coming her way from all these people.
And she felt it.
It's huge. I call it the tsunami of prayer. You feel it. And I felt it, when my parents, my father literally would be in Greece and he would call me and say, I'm dying. I said, Dad, let's pray. And we would pray. I'll bring Ariana in, and his assistant was taking care of him. And my dad, survived the concentration camps in the Second World War. So he knew God, because he said to me, if it wasn't for God, I would have never survived. So I said, Dad, let's bring God into this. And, and there we'd be on the phone and asking Greek, Themu, voice the baba, na istanti kalitera, se parakalume. I'm just saying it now and I feel the chills.
Yeah, she said, God, please, well, now I can't even remember, help my father to feel better.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, what is...
I love the Greek word enthusiasm. I love Greek. I'm very Greek in my expression. I love the Greek language. Like, for example, I was telling a friend the other day, I love the word enthusiasm. It means within God, theos, right? And I have a prayer. I have a chapter here in the book called How to Revive Your Enthusiasm for each brand new day. Because, you get up and here you are, you got the kids, you got the bills, you got the day, you're trying to get everything going and you get stressed and you get up and part of you says, oh, here we go again. But I said, no, it's not like here we go again. It's like, here I am again. Look at this. I'm alive. I can move. And to bring this enthusiasm and your joy the best you can. And if you don't feel it, just call a friend and just say, can we have a moment to pray together? And that light coming in, that evocation, that to me is the greatest gift we have with each other. So you pray to God, but you reach out to each other.
Yeah. And, I think that people have to cultivate those friendships that allow for that, because I don't know a lot of people that do call each other to pray. I did it in my, really, really tough moments. I would reach out for prayers from people or, I went to Twitter for prayers once. I've gone to people specifically, but, you talk about the differences between prayer and affirmations or mantras, whatever you want to call them.
And meditate, yes.
And I thought that was a really powerful message. Will you share that with everyone?
Yes. You see, for example, affirmations can be hollow unless you have spirit with it. For example, I can get up and look at my bills and say, oh my God, my credit cards are overdue. I don't have enough money in my bank account. I don't know where the next, and then you can say, okay, I will affirm that I am rich or that I'm abundant or money flows to me easily. But then part of you says, are you kidding me? It's like, where is the energy in that? But so affirmations, unless you have the juice there, and the juice is spirit, again, come to your breath, come to your heart. Show me, how can I navigate my finances and open up to places inside of me that are abundant and know abundance and know that money is part of the life flow, whatever words you want to find. And then as you feel the support and the spirit, you can start taking the steps to bring, let's say, your finances together. But it is action. Prayer is not like, well, I am, if I have overweight, look, I'm thin and wonderful and beautiful and slim. Well, but then I'm not going to have those potato chips. So like it's more like, how do you affirm what you want and then take the action to correct it and to come into alignment.
Yeah. And the prayer you're asking is for the strength to be able to do those and accomplish those things.
So
it's not
example,
for something magically to show up.
Yeah, sure. Like you've broken up with your boyfriend or you've gone through a separation and then you go, well, bring me another boyfriend or a girlfriend that are perfect. No, let me heal the parts of myself that have picked up relationships that haven't worked, that have picked up. What is the part of me that feels not good enough or unworthy or attracts people who don't cherish me and love me? What is the part of me that I do not love myself? Like, again, in the book, I refer to a chapter, you are the one you're looking for. So that as you're going on a date, I say, bring spirit with you. Spirit will tell you the red flags. Spirit will, your intuition, bring all of you on everything you do. Do you know, Maria, that I started doing such powerful prayers every time I went to a meeting, an event, every time I went to speak, even if it was a party or a cocktail party, I would say, Spirit, let me be used to connect with those that I'm supposed to connect. You know how many times people have social anxiety, right? Mm-hmm. And they go in and they go, oh, I don't know who to talk to. I don't know if people are going to like me. You compare yourself, and then you go to a party or an event, and you feel lousy. And instead I started to, and I remember being in New York on my own. I had left my family. I was living with my mother and Ariana and the girls in Santa Barbara, and I moved to New York to write a book. And I was by myself. And I remember walking on the street and going, man, if I don't bring God as my partner, I'm not going to have a good time in this, because I was alone. And everywhere I went, I literally would not go out with connecting what I call my bungee cord from my solar plexus to my heart, to my third eye, to spirit. And I will go to places on my own as a single girl and have amazing connections, because I said, God, show me where. Sometimes I'll just talk to the waiter and I would have an amazing conversation. But I started to feel so confident about not because of, of who I was in the world, but who I was inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt so. That's when I wrote the goddesses, as you know, and then I started to go and speak about the goddesses. And again, everywhere I went, I said, God, give me the energy. It's you and me. It's you and me. And it was like a muscle building it. I mean, It wasn't.
It is a muscle.
It's like a muscle. It was like it's always there. So I want to encourage our wonderful listeners to just start practicing. The reason I wrote this book and these prayers is because I talk about everything that is human experience very, very openly. We all deal with fear and anxiety and insecurities. And how can you, in your beautiful life, have a good time and have good days where you feel, not because of everything that happened outside, but because what you are bringing inside. My mother always used to say, when you go out into the world, don't go wanting something, go giving something, and you're going to feel so rich. She said, don't go thinking, what can I get? But go say, what can I give?
It's such a better way to be in general, but also relying on other people to make you feel good is never a good idea. You're more than likely setting yourself up for disappointment, because it's not their job to make us feel good. It is not anyone's job to tell us we're great or to do nice things for us or make us feel good. We have to feel good. So what your mom was saying is even has other layers to it other than just that kind of kind spirit of go giving. That means you're putting yourself in that energy zone where you're not looking for outside affirmation because you already have it inside.
Exactly. And sometimes it comes and goes, but that's where I feel the better together comes, like, okay, build your tribe. And I always give out, my email to people because I do so many events where I match people, where I go, hey, come to this event, we'll talk. And then find a buddy.
Yes.
Find somebody you trust. So it's Agapi at unbindingtheheart.com. I send my meditations out. I have meditations that say how to be bold and confident 6 minutes before you go to a job interview, because you go on a date. Listen to someone else's voice who empowers you, who infuses you with confidence. It's an amazing gift how much we can empower each other.
Mm-hmm.
There is not a moment in my life that I don't tell the people I love how much I love them. It's like when I came just this moment with you, I felt the love. I felt our connection. I felt this, you know how much I've always loved you. And I feel, how much Ariana and I feel like you are like a soul sister out there, although we don't see you much.
Mm-hmm.
So we are, and I always felt your love and your support and for my work. And so that is priceless.
Mm-hmm.
And so can we create that? And I feel very passionate to help people find it. Maria, I have a whole chapter in the book called Finding Your People.
Yeah.
How do you find your people?
Mm-hmm.
And if you feel, I'm not included here, or these people don't like me, these are not your people.
Yeah.
Don't go after the people that don't want to interact and support you. Be ruthless about that. And you say, well, I'm going to be alone. Fine. Better to be alone, hold in your aloneness, and then start to feel, where are your people?
Do you know how many times I have to advise friends that are close to me that I'm like, trust me, being alone is 1,000,000 times better than what you're dealing with, because you're sinking your own ship. You have to look at it, to me, like just all these bags of bricks that you're carrying, but not even just carrying, they're throwing them at your head. They're hurting you physically and emotionally.
Yes.
It is
Yes.
better to be alone and regroup. But for people who are listening to this, who are like, well, I don't believe in God, so prayer is not for me. What do you say?
I say, read my book. Honestly, because I wrote this book, it took me a year during the pandemic. Maria, right now, this book has been out for 2 months, and I get the most amazing emails from people saying, I am a Muslim. I am a Hindu. I was in the Catholic Church and I left it, and I stopped my faith in God. And when I heard you on the podcast, and I picked up your book, and I read the prayers now every night. I had a woman from East End, London, who said to me, I'm a single mom and I've been living in paralyzing fear.
Mm.
I've been reading loud your prayer about fear every night. It's been 3 weeks. I feel amazing, Agapi. I feel fearless. And I cried, Maria. Yesterday morning, I woke up. There was a woman who said, I was born with such rigid religion, I turned against God. And I realized that you are saying, God is in you, is in your breath, is in your cells, is in your life force, that you wouldn't be alive. I don't care if you call it God, or if you call it the oneness, or the I am, or the universe, or the higher intelligence. It doesn't matter. But call it, my mother used to call it your life force, the 36 trillion cells, 36 trillion cells, billion trillion cells that are making you. Those cells have life force. They have consciousness. These are the places where we must take ourselves, our humanity, and allow that energy to come in and fill us. And it takes courage, and it takes practice. And if you meditate, please call in the light first and let the light fill you, because people say, I can't stop my thoughts, because meditation can be dry. And let me just say something which I would engrave in my forehead as a tattoo. If your heart is not in it, it don't mean a thing, because your heart is mighty. And bring your heart, bring your love to everything you do. And so prayer is really about a heartfelt connection with yourself and your higher self and the God in you, the Spirit in you. And you might not know it, but give it a chance and let that Spirit flood you, guide you, open up the gates. And it's the most magnificent thing in the world. And I know that when I work with people and I teach them meditation and I send them my audio prayers, people start to feel it, Maria, you know, and they awaken. And there's nothing more wonderful to me than being used for someone else to awaken. And I want to ask if I can read this poem, my darling. And it's about, you see, here's the thing. I have dealt with loneliness, tremendous loneliness. I mean, I remember when I left my family and I came here because I was dating a man and I thought he was the one. You know? How many times? Well, you got your one, so you are happy and wonderful, and you're blessed. And Kevin is amazing,
except for this morning.
Wow. Okay. Why, he didn't make you coffee?
I didn't get my massage. I didn't get my coffee. Nope, nothing.
He wasn't up. Well, then you should have given him a massage.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm digressing just because it's an inside joke.
Give him my love.
I will.
I can't wait. When you come to New York, you have to come and see us, and we have to go to dinner.
I would love that.
But you know, I remember Saturday night. If I wasn't going out, you know, or I didn't have a date, and I would be home, and I would feel so lonely and excruciating. And I remember my girlfriend saying to me, how can you be lonely? You're with my most favorite person in the world, you. He said, and I said, well, because I'm not my favorite person in the world yet. I have to become. So, you know, I was in Mykonos one day and I was watching over the Aegean, and you know how magical it is when you are in the Mediterranean and you're watching the sun set or the sunrise, or it is so the vistas of the Greek land. And this poem came to me and I wrote it in my iPhone. I mean, I dictated it in my iPhone. And it is in the chapter 16, The Hidden Gifts of Being Alone, you know, which I had to learn to embrace myself. And it's called Coming Home.
Hold on. Do you want to laugh? This is the exact page I have the book open to because I was going to read that part. Kelsey.
Oh my God. Do you want to read it?
Well, no, you can read it. Kelsey, I like hearing your voice with it. I love hearing your meditations. It's such a good thing. But it's funny, Kelsey had pulled this page or this poem and sent it to her sister.
Oh my God.
And it's so funny. Yeah.
I used to be so lonely at my house, lonely when I got back to sleep, lonely when I was alone. When I was with people, I was never lonely. But when by myself, loneliness would hit my home. And then one day I heard a voice. Why don't you move in? I live alone too. You would like it here. Move in with me. I looked around and it was me talking to me. My house was empty. Wow, I said. I left that beautiful place a long time ago, going out looking for others to fill my home. And I left my house empty. Move in with me. You like it here. You'll never have to pay rent. I'll never evict you. You'll be my honored guest. I know you, your likes, your dislikes, your little quintessential idiosyncrasies. I know you. I'll treat you nice and kind and give you lots of space. Move in with me. I looked into my eyes, my heart. I saw the love for me. I surrendered. I opened the door and I moved into my empty house. Wow, I had left a long time ago. It was exactly as I left it. It had just missed me. I moved in and never left, and never felt alone anymore. For my house filled with love, once I accepted such a kind, tender invitation.
Oof. Yeah, that's pretty great.
So, you know, I feel, Maria,
Oof.
that we must move in with ourselves, just as we are, not perfectly imperfect, with our idiosyncrasies, with our likes, with our don't likes, with I feel sad today, I feel depressed today, I feel lonely, I feel whatever it is. There is a bigger part in us that is our soul. We don't see our souls, but our souls love us. And to me, prayer is like reconnecting, reawakening, re-remembering. I had a podcast with Deepak Chopra about 2 weeks ago, and he kept saying, remembering we are a member of the consciousness, that we are part of the consciousness. And it's tender, and it's human, and it's vulnerable, and we're all alike. That's I keep saying, we're all alike. People can look at you or look at me or look at people who are on the right books or on the front line or are there and say, oh, you got it and I don't have it. And that is, I'm sorry, that's BS. Can I just say that on the show?
Mm-hmm.
That is that's BS. That do not do that to yourself. But we can use each other to learn, to uplift. I mean, you shower people with wisdom and every time, and you share so openly exactly who you are. And how grand is that, to just say, this is who I am, just as I am. And not every day I'm going to feel great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if you are in a place of where your loneliness or your depression or your sadness is become chronic, or your self-doubt, you got to shake it off, because that is giving permission to the lower part of yourself to grab you and to rob you of your life force. My mother had this great expression. I should make a T-shirt. She used to say, change the channel. Like if she saw me in disappointment, oh, Mommy, I didn't get the part, I'm so upset, my project fell through or something, and I'll be depressed, for a day or 2 days. She says, okay, snap out of it. Change the channel. You've got the remote, change the channel.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard for people to change the channel, though, especially when you're ill. But I think that these are great tools to help you try to get back on track. I'm going to go to the queens in the booth. Queens, I need you to jump in here, as we've been talking a lot, and I want to make sure that anybody who's listening is represented if we are missing something. Like, are you left with questions about how to connect with God or universe or spirit? Are you left with questions on how to cultivate this relationship, how to do any of the things that we're talking about?
I think for someone who's just starting out, right? They don't know where to turn. They don't know where to go. They want to start building this muscle, though. Agape, what would you say is like the first thing, the starting place for them? Like how do they even begin?
I would absolutely say that take a piece of paper and a pen and write down, I don't know where to begin. I don't know how to trust. I don't believe there is anything other than myself. And I'm willing to see if there is something larger and support from God, the universe. I'm willing to open up to receive. You got to face how you are, state how you are, own it, not deny it, and then be willing to shift. If you're not, and if you're judging the hell of how you are, and then you've locked yourself in, you close the door, nothing is going to come in. But if you said just the phrase, I am willing to know something else than what I know right now, and just show me, you will be led. You might be led to a book. You might be led to a friend. You might be led in your sleep, in your dreams. But trust me, because you're not alone and spirit cannot invade you, spirit will not interfere. You have to ask with a willingness. Does that make sense?
It does. It absolutely does.
And you have
be
to
open.
go. And the reason I'm saying take a pen, Kelsey, and a pen, because there is power in the written world. There is power in writing. And then even if you just said, I am listening, I'm receiving, and you take it and you write down, Spirit, what do you have to say to me? And make it up. And Spirit might say, it's about time you did something that felt good for yourself. Okay, just that. Or it's about time you start to give of what you already have to someone who is less than you. You don't know what Spirit is going to say, but Spirit, trust me, will give you a message.
I love that. Is that something we should do daily then? Is that like, take 5 minutes and ask daily? Is that how we continue?
I would say more than 5 minutes. I would say daily. I would say 24/7. If you want to, it's like having a lover. I mean, you would do anything for them. You would, you want to talk to them more than just once a day or once every other day. Make that a habit of opening up to, you've heard all the yogis and all the spiritual teachers say your third eye is where your soul is, right. Your heart is where the power is, the spiritual heart. I mean, these are not just things that Agape is just saying and discussing with Maria right now. These are universal truths throughout centuries, how we are connected and we are part of of a higher consciousness. And there is a third eye that opens and we see the light and we see the presence. So let me just say, everybody's got it. The universe didn't say, well, you people on the left, you're going to get it and I'm going to bless you. And you people on the right, screw you. Go live a life on your own and see how you do. It doesn't work that way. We all got it. But certain people, I mean, Maria said since she was a little girl, she felt the trust and the knowing of God. Well, that's a blessing. That's a huge blessing. I didn't know. But
it came with the non-blessings. Like it came with the tough stuff is exactly what I'm trying to say. It came with my dad being so sick. I mean, I used to be in church. I would go before choir practice on Wednesday nights an hour early, and I would just sit in the church alone and I would guttural cry and just talk to God.
That's amazing, Maria. That's really amazing. It came in so many times. We find God through our adversities. Like when we're in crisis, if you're on a plane and the plane is turbulent, and you think, oh my God, we're going to crash, you're going to pray to God. So when we're in crisis, when someone you love is sick, when you have an emergency in your life, you're going to go to God because instinctively we know God is there. So why don't we go to God on our everyday life with our everyday issues? Be smart with yourself. Outsmart your ego. Outsmart your self-doubt. Outsmart your lack of confidence. Outsmart it. I mean, it's sort of like fake it till you make it. I had to do that. I had to say, listen, nobody's hiring me as an actress. I'm going to give Agape permission to go do a one-woman show. I know how to do that. I have the chutzpah. I'm going to ask my friends to help me. I'm going to rent a gallery. I'm going to ask everybody to come. I mean, I just gave myself permission to go do what I wanted to do. Nobody, the world wasn't giving me what I wanted. And that's been my message throughout my books. That's in helping so many people. And I always say, if I can do it, you can do it. Because I was in a straitjacket of not finding my expression. But I had to take Maria once I found Spirit and the light, it wasn't as she lived happily ever after, like you had to find it through your dad not being well. I had to find it through the world not giving me what I thought I wanted, and again with relationships. And the more the world said no, the more I had to go back in and say yes to Agape. And that was like till one day I said, hey, I have a beautiful heart and I'm going to share it with everyone, whether they want it or not. And guess what? Everybody wanted it because everybody wants love. And it wasn't conditional. And then I went and talked to people and hugged everybody and signed books and loved. And all my events, which I miss so much now, were love fests.
Mm-hmm.
Because I said, everybody wants love.
By the way, for anyone who's listening and doesn't realize what agape means, Agape's name means love in Greek. Yes. You were made for this.
Unconditional love. And I had to love agape, you know, because again, as you know, my sister was writing bestsellers and being like hugely successful. And I was struggling to get a little part. Yeah. So the universe set it up for me so that I had to go, hey, it's who I am, and that's plenty. And then I went, let's go tell everyone that who they are is plenty. And it was so again, ask yourself, where is it that I'm holding my love back from myself? And Kelsey said, Agapi, where do people find this God? In your heart. Love your heart as it is. Your heart. Talk to your heart. Talk to your heart every night. Kelsey said every 5 minutes a day. No, every night, 24/7. How are you now? Maria said she gave herself a pep talk. How are you? Well, I'm sort of worried about this. Okay, let's talk about worry. Let's talk about how can we get you to get off worry. I have chapter 32. You can kick the worry habit. We Greeks even have worry beads, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, I ask to know that beyond the storms and the hurricanes and the turbulence of the sea, there is a stillness and a calmness that is always present. I feel an invisible presence of steadiness. And as you say these words, and I encourage people, Maria, to read this loud, because I wrote these prayers with spirit on my side. I wrote them through my tears during the pandemic. I wrote them when I was screaming and kicking. When am I going to be able to speak again? And, it took months and months, and it was horrible for me. I don't know. It was horrible for so many people. And it took a lot of strength to awaken that part and to hold yourself moment by moment to not cave in. Anytime I bring worry upon myself, I remember that it's a byproduct of the false self. So remember, we have the true self and the false self. And my true self only knows peace, calm, and serenity. I do not give over to this worry. I don't give over to the anxiety and the restlessness. I return to the invisible, because that's the thing about soul and spirit and God. It's invisible, but guess what? My mother used to say, I go to the ocean and I feed the seagulls, and I feel the spirit everywhere. And you go and you look up in the sky, and you go to any walks in nature, and you feel the palpable presence of spirit. So go where you find it. Go to the places that bring you the calm and the sweetness. Find it in nature, find it in people, find it in music. And whatever it is that ignites you. Hugh Jackman was interviewed by Tim Ferriss, and Tim Ferriss said to him, when did you know that you were meant for the stage? And he quoted one of my favorite phrases in a movie. You remember The Chariots of Fire, the movie?
I never saw it, actually.
Oh, Maria, well, you have to see it. Yeah. It is incredible. And the guy is an athlete, and he's running. And he's also a missionary. And his sister says to him, Eric, you have to give up this little hobby of yours of running. You're a missionary. You're here to do God's work. And he says, but when I run, I feel his pleasure.
Wow. That's amazing.
So I want to ask you, Maria, when do you feel his pleasure? When do you feel God's pleasure in you? Look at you. You look so adorable the way you did your eyes like that.
I was like, wow. I don't know.
Taking care of the babies?
I don't know. I have
when you
to
were taking care
of
your mom?
When do I feel God's pleasure? What does that even mean?
Well, when you prayed, you felt God's pleasure. When you were praying, didn't you feel God's pleasure?
I don't know if I felt God's pleasure. I felt God's presence and I felt
Presence,
God's
okay.
love. But I liked what he said is, I was doing God's work, but this is when I felt God's pleasure. But I don't know the
Yes.
distinguishment there. I don't know what God's pleasure means.
Well, God's joy.
Mm.
When you sing, like, okay, I have an image of you in Greece at your wedding, the Greek wedding. Oh my God, I get the chills as you came down and you were on the horse with the chariots,
Yes.
whatever, and all the Greek people were throwing,
The rice.
I mean, my God, there was such presence of spirit, and all the beautiful tables with the lemons. And that was the most magnificent wedding ceremony to me. I wasn't there, but my heart leaped. Didn't you feel God's pleasure there?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The joy.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Wow. I'm going to sit with that. I mean, I think I feel God's pleasure in nature and when I'm doing good things in the world, for sure. Because I think that's it's kind of our godly expression, right? Is when you are charitable and giving and kind. So I think that's why we love doing it. But Agapi, you've definitely left me with something very deep to think about. Agapi, thank you so much. The book is called Speaking with Spirit, 52 Prayers to Guide, Inspire, and Uplift You. You can get that on our website, wakeuptothejoyofyou.com. We'll put all of it in the summary of this episode. Agapi, thank you as always.
Thank you, Maria. And remember, Agape love is the love that Maria and I are sending to you right now for your day and for your days to come. Let's lift each other up and know that we have mighty hearts that can overcome anything.